A massive hello to all of you fantastic Year 1 children that are continuing with your home learning. We know that some days are easy and some are hard, but we are so proud of you staying motivated to learn, and we hope that you enjoy the activities that we've got planned for you this week. If I could share with you your English learning this week. Now, our English learning is about sharing a story called Tiddler, the storytelling fish, and that's by the author Julia Donaldson. Tiddler is a little fish that likes big adventures. So what we'd like you to do first is to have a read of the book first, and you can do that by clicking on this link here. If you'd like to have the story read to you, you can do this before or after you have a go. Click this YouTube link here. You might want to read the story once, or you might feel that you need to read it a couple of times to familiarise yourself with it. Once you've done that, we'd like you to try reading the story and join in with the familiar or repeating parts of the story. We'd also like you to have a go at joining at answering some of our questions. So, what is the repeated phrase in the book? Can you spot any rhymes? Is there any alliteration in the story? Was Tiddler, the main character, always telling the truth? What does tall story mean? You might want to ask a grown-up about that question if you're not sure, but have a go first. And there are some other questions for you to answer. The skills that we're practicing this week in English are our read and respond skills, so reading a text and being able to give information about the text that you've been reading. Once you've read the story and answered those questions, we'd like you to do this little task for us. We'd like you to draw and label Tiddler and some of the other characters that you've noticed in the book. We'd then like you to cut out those fantastic drawings and stick them onto lolly sticks, straws or pencils, whatever you've got at home, and use them to retell and act out the story, remembering to start at the beginning, go through to the middle, and then finish at the end of your story. And finally, we'd like you to practice segmenting and blending some of the words that you might see in the story. We'd like you to have a go at segmenting and blending those, as they will have some of those sounds we've been practicing in phonics over the last few weeks. So do have a little go at those. That's our English learning for this week, and it's very similar to what the children will be learning about in class. They'll also be looking at Tiddler, the storytelling fish as well. Okay, so let's have a look at our maths learning for the week. Now, in our maths learning this week, our focus is beginning to explore multiplication and division. Now again, we've got 4 white rose activity sheets for you to do, and there will be a 5th mental maths session as well. As always, there is a maths overview on the main Year 1 home learning page that's got all of the links that you will need and further explanations of each task as well. So please do look at that first before you actually complete the white rose sheets. So let's have a look here. Now the first white rose activity is all about arrays. So the first activity we would like you to circle each row of sweets, so you're starting to visualise the array and how it's organised. Just to mention as well, the children will be receiving a Times Table Rockstar login next week. And that will link really well to arrays, because we are going to be starting to think about lots of, so for example, 2 lots of 4, 4 lots of 2. We're going to start thinking about the beginnings of times tables. And arrays is the first stepping stone for us in Year 1 to do with multiplication and division. So we need to say how many rows we see. And then we need to have a look at this picture of apples here. And we now need to not look at for rows, but we're looking for columns. You might want to have a chat to your grown-up about what the word column means. Perhaps they could show you some pictures of some columns that might help you to understand what they are. Okay. And then we'd like you to use some counters or buttons or whatever you've got at home to make an array. And then we'd like you to complete these sentences about your array. I always think that arrays are very organised, like an army, all in the neat rows, all lined up in order and in neat rows. don't know if that would help you too. I hope so. In maths, we're also going to be looking at making doubles, and we're going to be looking at some pictures that will help you to work out the doubles. And then we'd like you to match the doubles to the addition number sentences. There's a fill in the gaps task here. And then finally, you need to read what Mo is saying to you and have a think about whether you agree with him or not. Perhaps you could talk about it to perhaps a sibling if you've got them at home, a brother or sister at home, or mummy or daddy or whoever you've got with you. We're also going to be looking at sharing, which is the beginnings of division for year 1. So Rosie and Amir are sharing some sweets. What we'd like you to do is draw lines so that you share the sweets equally between them. And then we'd like you to have a count up how many sweets Rosie gets and how many sweets Amir gets. And then we'd like you to complete this number statement here. And then we've got some more sharing for our other activities on this sheet. Now I know you children in year 1, I saw you all through term 1 and 2, and you are fantastic at sharing. So I know that you're going to be brilliant at sharing in our maths learning this week. Now the beginnings of division for year 1 is also about grouping. So we've got some grouping activities here for you. So here are some socks. We'd like you to draw lines to match the pairs of socks. I can never seem to find a pair of socks in my house. It's one of those magic things. I wonder if you find that's the case in your house as well. We'd like you to complete the sentences to make sure that you're right, that they are true facts. And then we'd like you to do some more grouping here. Please do email your sheets in once they're completed if you'd like your class teacher to see your learning. That would be brilliant. Okay, so for foundation learning this week, we've got a PSHE set of activities and we've got some RE activities as well. So for PSHE this week, it's all about feelings. And this week, you're going to be learning to recognise different feelings in yourself and others. You're going to have a think about identifying that people can feel differently about things and situations. So perhaps you might think differently about something, and your friend might have another idea. And we're going to be explaining who can help us with our feelings and having a think about who those people might be. You can have a go at one or all of the activities, but please remember to use the PowerPoint presentation first to talk you through the activities, and you'll find the worksheet and resource 1 is available on the shared drive also. Okay, so let's have a look at our RE home learning for this week. So we're going to be carrying on our learning about special places and specialness. Last week we had a think about places that are special to us and what makes them special. Now this week we've got 2 activities that you might like to have a go at. The first one is an activity where you could create a special place in your home, and we'd like you to have a think about how you could make that place special. So what could you put in it? Where might it be? How might you use it? So I thought of an example that if I was making a special place in my house, I might use some little twinkly lights and some comfy cushions to make it look a bit special. I might hang some special sort of material as well to make it a bit like a little den. Please do check with your grown-ups first though that you're able to make the special place where you want to make it. And check if it's okay to use the things that you want to use. You might like to think about, are there any rules for your special place to keep it special? Who can go in there? When can people go in there? And what should people do in your special place? Is it a place for loud talking, or is it a place for people to be quiet? That would be up to you. If you've got any photographs of the special places that you create, we would absolutely love to see them, so please do email them in. And if you don't have the room at home to actually make yourself a special place, perhaps you could draw a picture of your design and label it and just email it in to us as well, as we'd love to see any photographs or drawings. That would be fab. So the second activity that you could do is have a look both our PowerPoints for Christian churches. So the church is a place that is a special place for Christians, and we'd like you to do a little bit of learning about that. So have a look at the PowerPoint presentations and you'll see lots of things that are inside a church and within the presentations. And we'd like you to have a little think about what it is that makes the church special. How do Christians feel when they go there? Is it always special and holy? Is it perhaps more special at certain times than at others? And how would perhaps a Christian feel if their special place was damaged or ruined in any way? Or, in fact, if they couldn't use their special place? As part 2 of our second activity, we'd like you to have a look at the PowerPoint presentation of synagogues. And you'll be able to have a look at what inside a synagogue looks like on the virtual tour of a synagogue. And that is a special place for Jewish people. We'd like you to answer some similar questions. Perhaps what it is that makes the synagogue special or holy. How do Jewish people feel when they go there? Is it always special and holy? Is it special more at some times than others? And how would perhaps a Jewish person feel if their special place was ruined or damaged? You might also have a place of worship that's special for you that we haven't spoke about in this week's home learning. Perhaps you could draw a picture, label it and tell us why it's special. We'd love to absolutely see your learning and find out all about your special places. Okay, so lastly I'd like to share with you the science home learning for this week. We're going to be carrying on our learning about being polar explorers and going on an expedition to the polar regions. We absolutely love the photographs of your explorer outfits that you sent in last week. We thought you looked absolutely fantastic. So well done to everybody. What a great effort. Okay. So this week, our polar region learning is going to be about polar animals. So animals that live in the North or South Pole. I'm going to share with you now a PDF that will show you the learning that we're doing in school. So please do have a read of all that information first. There are also 3 PowerPoints for you to have a look at first before you try and complete the 3 challenges that are on the PDF. So if I click the PDF now, so this is the learning that the children will be doing in school. So please do have a read through all of this. And then we've got 3 challenges, so you need to read the information that I'm showing you now first. And then we've got some challenges for you. So challenge 1 is for you to be able to say whether an animal from a polar region is a carnivore, a herbivore, or an omnivore. And there'll be some information that you would have learnt through looking at the PowerPoints and looking at the information before this challenge, and that will be really useful and will help you to make the decision you need to make. Okay, we've also got a second challenge, which is a snowy camouflage challenge. So please do have a read of that. That sounds like great fun. And for that one, you'll need to be able to print out one of the pictures of one of the Arctic animals. If you haven't got a printer at home, perhaps whoever is at home with you could try and draw and copy one of the animal pictures for you onto white paper, and then you could cut that out instead. And we've got the colour camouflage challenge for you as well, where you have to think like a scientist. And please do email in any scientific answers that you find, any answers to our challenge questions, as we'd love to hear your science thinking. And I think we'd like to have a little look at what we're doing next week. I won't spoil it. I'll let you have a little read of this last part here, because we're going to be doing some very exciting things next week to do with our polar exploring topic. So a big thank you to everybody that's continuing their home learning. Fantastic effort from everybody, and we're really, really proud of you being motivated for so long. So a big well done to everybody. We miss you very much, but we are thinking about you all of the time, and we love seeing your learning. So please do keep sending it in to us. Take care. Hope you have a good week, and hope to see you all soon. Take care. Bye.